members of the board. Haven't met for a couple of months, so we have some stuff to report, mainly flooding. We have been inundated with a lot of torrential rains and flooding over the last 2 months. It seems that Warren County and Shenandoah County especially haven't been putting enough in the collection plant lately because we have been hit pretty hard. We've spent a good bit of our resources have been dedicated for the repair and restoration of damaged roads, and we're still doing it throughout the county. We've repaired the south approach to Morgan Ford Bridge twice. The last time we had to go down and do some deep milling and replace the base and everything and bring it back up with asphalt. We repaired the asphalt and washouts on 609, 612, 735, and 659. We've cleaned debris and open flow on various bridges and spillways throughout the county numerous times. We've used our pipe flusher to open pipes on various routes, and we have at least regraded all the non-hard surface roads that were damaged by flooding. And after last week's event, we're going to be going back and doing some of those again. During that short dry spell we had, we were able to finish up our first round of mowing on all the primaries and secondaries, and it even got dry enough where we had to put some dust control down. We've done shoulder repairs on 340 and 55, both east and west, 605 and 619. We've opened some additional drainage pipes on various routes. We had to clean up trees from the storms on 638, 624, 604, 677. And we were able to do some grading of non-hard surface roads that weren't damaged by the storm. This month, we plan, if the weather permits, we will start our second round of mowing, and we will continue our grading operations on the non-hard surface roads. And we'd like to do some skin patching on 621, 623, and some asphalt patching on 660 and 619. This has been a strange summer in terms of the amount of moisture that we've gotten throughout our entire residency, so hopefully the weather will cooperate. The Route 613 bridge is on schedule. When I talked to the bridge foreman last week, for it to be completed and the road open before school starts. It's supposed to be this Friday. I haven't been able to touch base with him yesterday or today to see if the rain has held that up any, but I'm confident we're going to have that road open before school starts. We may have to go back and do some dress up, but we should have the road open. The Morgan Ford Bridge ribbon cutting, that's been being scheduled for later in August. The last thing we have to do there to completely restore that is put the seal coat and the colored stone on it. That contractor that's going to do that is currently working on 66, and we've negotiated with him to come in and do that. The pavement that we put down had to lay 30 days before we could make that application. So we're coming up on the end of that now. We completed the drainage mitigation for the property at 340 and Rocky Lane. The Lakefront Drive revenue sharing project, bridge people tell me that they're going to start later this month to place that box in there so we can get that project done. And then we'd like to start our rural rustic projects. We'd like to have already started them. However, we have, as I said, we're behind and trying to catch up on the flooding repair. We're probably on the rural rustics, we'll get some of the work done, but I suspect some of it's going to carry over to next summer. One of the problems is that when we start getting this late in the year, if we don't have that tar sealed down before the leaves start to fall, we have to hold up. Are there any other issues the board would like for me to address?
Any questions for Mr. Carter?
If you
will. I have a couple, if you will.
Absolutely.
You can believe that, can't you? Well, first let me say I appreciate you taking time to speak with Mr. Hill and his concerns about some drainage issues and he's associated with, along with Mr. Childress. And we appreciate that very much. And the other item that is of some question is that last year on Rivermont Drive, right 619, there was asphalt put down and a dry chip on top of it. And I was wondering if this year, is there more work going to be completed on that? Because I understood that was a repair and not a permanent fix or so. Can you?
I'll have to check on that, Mr. Fox, and see.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I can add, there's some signs that are loose gravel. I think they did tar and chip some sections of the road. It's been done for quite a while. I know y'all usually leave the signs out several weeks, let the fines get worn off the surface.
When we do that, we put the signs out and to keep people from going too fast on the loose gravel. The gravel eventually washes off or beds down with the traffic that's on it.
And is that the finished product? Will there be more work done?
Sometimes it is. If it is asphalt on there, generally, if we're doing patchwork in that area, there's some type of coat that is planned to go on it.
I see.
It may not be a pavement. It may be a slurry or a cape seal or something like that to preserve the pavement.
I see. Okay, that's.
But I'll in that specific instance, I'll have to see.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have.
Anybody else?
If I excuse me, I had a question or two. Again, there's something good to say was that the low water bridge didn't flood out during those last torrential rains, because that would have been kind of heaping more issues upon issues. So that was good. It was built high enough that it didn't flood during this last one.
Well, the thing that helped us there was that this heavy rain that inundated on this last week in Warren County, it didn't hit upstream.
Correct.
So that helped us out in that situation. We've had the 2 times that bridge did overtop this year were, significantly more than 5 or 10 year storms. Some places had 7 or 8 inches of rain back up there that fed that thing, and that's upwards of a 100-year storm.
Yeah, and I want to compliment the quickness that the VDOT crews came out on early in the morning, and actually Mr. Stanley gave me a text message, I think it was around 12 o'clock midnight, and asked me if I was up, and I said yes, and he gave me a call and told me about what was going on Howesville Road. And I went out early in the morning, I got some pictures and posted them on Facebook so people could see the road was blocked. But that was just absolutely amazing what happened there at the bridge, right below I guess they call it the McDonald House as you come down the road there.
Yeah, we had crews out all night that night. Not full crews, but crews trying to close the roads that had come up so quickly. And so I talked to them, our superintendent that night. He was out till midnight, and then he had 3 people on duty until the next morning when full crews came in.
And lastly, I know you guys are inundated with all kinds of issues right now, but on Friesland Road, I understand that you guys are going to be able to get to the stripping.
Yes,
on
the
that
striping, remarking, yes. I talked to our paint foreman. Our crews are in Frederick and Warren County now, and that's on the list to get done.
Right. And just lastly, this kind of just came to me. I've had some constituents up on the Blue Mountain area, and they say, I think it's inland fisheries. There's a parking space right before when Friesland Road becomes Blue Mountain Road. There's a parking area, and they're putting big rocks, and they're blocking it. Do you know anything about that?
No, sir, I'll have to check on that. I'll find out.
Well, I've gotten an email.
Are they blocking the
entrance
ways or parking? Or?
There's some mailboxes, and it's right where Friesland Road becomes Blue Mountain Road.
I know where the lot is.
And there's a lot right there. And apparently somebody, the way it was said to me, somebody's putting big rocks, and they wanted to know why, and then somebody asked them why they were doing it, and they said it was the game and fisheries people, and they didn't want people, the public, using that spot anymore.
Okay, I'll check on that, but that's possible. I don't believe that lot itself is on our right of way. So, but I'll make a call.
I know that parking area means a lot to the Blue Mountain folks. They like to use that, you know, to have drop-offs, meet people and stuff.
Anybody else? I think that was one of our projects in our top that we were planning on getting to on the Oregon Hollow Road.
Yes. On the other end, the
Yeah.
high-volume secondary.
Is that, and it was hopeful that maybe we would have got that done or started this year, but I guess with everything else, that's going to be one of those ones
Well,
pushed back.
it's still in the plan.
Okay.
We are having a meeting on Thursday, and our superintendents are going to provide us with a list of which ones we need to go ahead and bring the contractor in and which ones they think they can do themselves.
Okay. And then, again, I know it's been busy, and I know it's on your list, and that's the guardrail heading into town, just this side of the town limits. It looks like somebody, it hadn't been too long since you repaired it. Shortly after that, somebody ran into it again. So, like I
Yes,
said, I know it's on your list. And it's happened now, I think, twice, and right there at the underpass on 55. Of course, there's a lot of gravel and stuff to clean up, too. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, I don't see any remedy there, because that's like the lowest point. You've got Manassas Run right on the other side of it that backs up. All the runoff coming down from the mountain and the whole thing. But like I said, I don't think there's any way to mitigate that.
Now, I'm sorry, where's your location? At Morgan Ford?
At the underpass on 55 East.
Oh, okay.
Right before about, what, a quarter mile before you get to the Apple House.
Okay.
Getting out of town. Like I said, they had to block that off. And like I said, that's like, I think, the second time this year. But again, with all the rain we had, it's not surprising.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to add that, I think it's probably the third time, Bob, that's happened this year, and we've actually, trying to document that. I know when we keep asking for smart scale funding for improvements to 55, but, when you have instances where 66 is blocked, 55 becomes the alternate, and if you lose 55,
Or Dismal Hollow.
you have the world's largest parking lot between here and Marshall.
Yeah.
So, we'll certainly try to use that to whatever advantage we can during that process.
Thank you. And last thing, I don't think you mentioned it, but I saw something in the paper, maybe they already had it. They're having a second series of meetings on I-81.
Yes, sir. On August 22nd at Blue Ridge Community College, they're having the second set of public hearings for people who want to comment and have ideas on the issues that we're having on I-81. It's a series of meetings. They had the first one in Strasburg, and they went all the way down through the valley, and they're coming all the way back through the valley for a second set. Out of those meetings, focus groups were formed to come up with ideas. Obviously, the biggest problem with I-81 is, besides traffic volumes, is sources of funding to make some corrections. And what should those corrections be? And it's, I think it's safe to say that the funding's not there to do it all at once. So we're going to try to attack those areas where we can get the biggest bang for the amount of bucks that we would have to work with. No decisions have been made, but it's my understanding at this particular meeting that some funding options will be discussed.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. If I might for a minute, I have a guest with me today, and Charlie Monroe, which is not unfamiliar with Warren County, is my new maintenance operations manager. Billy Stover, my other maintenance operations manager, retired and living the life of Riley and left us here. Charlie's been with the organization a little over 20 years now, Charlie? About 28 years. And very knowledgeable, and George reports directly to him, so any issues that you have that I can pawn off on him, I'll do that.
I guess you got here just in time for all the rain. My condolences.
Well, he was previously at Berryville, so he's not, Charlie was here when Lou Ray residency was still in, so he's familiar with the area.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.